Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world premiere video release of Harry Smallenburg's original tune, Fantasy Fan. But first, a little bit about Harry Smallenburg. Harry was born locally here in Burbank from a very musical family. His parents were educators, but his mum also played piano, his father played violin, and his siblings played drums, guitar, sax, and sang. Everybody had the music gene, and Harry chose the trombone over drums because he figured his parents would never tolerate the incessant racket of drums at home. So he played his trombone all the way through high school, picked up drums anyway, and vibes along the way, and began arranging in about 11th grade. After high school, he went on to USCB and then to UC Berkeley, where music activities gave way to reading books and writing papers, and he began to be fascinated by the idea of being an English teacher. His very first job offer was in Detroit teaching English at Wayne State University, then at the College for Creative Studios, an advanced art and design school. That was when music really came back into his life. Not only was he teaching interdisciplinary courses in ancient and modern literature and history of ideas, he was the go-to vibes player for jazz musicians at the art school and began hearing the likes of George Gruntz and other cutting-edge jazz writers and players, which ultimately influenced his writing and arranging when he ended up back in Los Angeles. He later got a master's degree in photography, which brought him into contact even more with modern art, writing, and music. A new job offer appeared at PCC, that's Pasadena City College, teaching literature with a specialty in the ancients and the Bible. Once he got settled in LA, he started taking trombone lessons with one of the greats, Roy Main. He later studied vibes with Emil Richards, another LA icon. At about the same time, he started getting calls to fill in on drums, vibes, trombone, in various bands in and around the LA area. Needless to say, he's a very talented man. In the meantime, he's raised two beautiful girls and has a lovely house in Burbank, right back where it all began. Now retired from PCC, Harry is virtually a full-time musician, as well as photographer, world traveler, etc., and so on. You get the picture. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Angela O'Neill, producer and director of Outrageous 8 Records, and the man himself, Harry Smallenburg.
Hey everybody. Thank you for joining us. And we're here talking with Harry Smallenburg, who is one of the key arrangers and trombone player in the Outrageous 8. During the course of the shutdown and the sheltering in place, we Zoomed a lot. Every Wednesday, the band got together and Zoomed while we were completely sheltering in place. And one of the things that kind of came out of that was that individuals in the band also had their own projects aside from the Outrageous 8, which is true in the case of Harry Smallenburg. Harry, what's the project that you and I are going to release soon? What's it called?
Inadequate Adult Supervision.
Which seems totally appropriate. How did you come up with the name?
Right out of the blue. I mean, I was, all the music was finished and I was trying to figure out, I guess, what to call it. And I think the first piece on the album is Inadequate Adult Supervision.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I gave that piece the name and decided, okay, that's got to be the title for the album. And I think that piece got its name because it's so long. It's like nobody says, shut up. It's time to stop. So right, I think that's the longest piece on the album. It's about 15 minutes long.
Oh my Lord. Okay, and what inspired you to do this particular album? Because you have actually released, or created, I should say, three CDs totally as a solo artist?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the last one.
Actually four. But
where was this in the order of things?
This was probably the second.
Okay.
The first one that since you have to pay to get permission to use standard tunes, that one I only, if people ask me about it, I'll give them a copy, but I can't I can't sell it. But this one, I mean, I was telling you that there's a nuts and bolts explanation at the root of it.
Right.
I had just gotten a music notation program, And
Okay.
I was thrilled that when you write something in the program, it plays it back to you through a synthesizer.
All right.
So I started thinking, well, as long as I can do that, one way to get more familiar with the program is just to write a lot of stuff and have the basically have the computer play it back to me. And
Right.
as I did that, I just thought, I could do a lot of this and put together an album. So I really just started writing different pieces,
Yeah.
and that's what, and writing different pieces and trying out different groups of sounds on the synthesizer.
Right.
And then
Right.
as
Right.
I discovered that this program was Encore. It was one of the early music notation programs.
Mm-hmm.
As I discovered that each of the I don't know, maybe 12 or 15 channels could control multiple voices on the synthesizer, suddenly the number of individual voices. Are you still there? Your
I
computer
am.
just froze.
No, I'm here.
Your computer's freezing.
Oh, it is? Oh, that's
Oh, okay.
weird.
Yeah.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As I discovered I could get all these voices, I started adding more synthesizers.
Right.
So
That makes sense.
And then it was interesting because it became a matter when you're working with a notation program in a computer, there are ways it can box you in.
Right.
Encore, as far as I knew at the time, didn't have any effective swing feel choice.
Oh, I see.
So everything had to be straight eighth notes. I thought, it's too late to go back and see if I was just ignorant about using it.
Right.
So I did everything really as in a straight eighth note format, but got to use all those instruments and then started figuring out ways to circumvent the strict eighth note feel of the program. So there are times there's always some kind of bass line going.
Right.
But you can offset it, you can reverse it, you can, turn it upside down, all the things you normally do with with a piece of music.
Right.
And then you can put another line, not in a different rhythm as far as the metronome mark goes or the time signature goes, but you can create a different feel. And because it's a computer, it doesn't get confused. It plays one line in one feel and the other line in the other feel. And I thought, oh, that's pretty wicked.
Right.
And, to me, some of the most exciting moments among those pieces are places where, a bunch of polyrhythmic things are going on. It was really an interesting kind of set of experiments within that rock framework, where I could do anything I wanted and not worry about whether it was playable by actual people.
Right.
So
right, exactly.
I think a lot of it is not actually playable by people.
Right. Because they can't follow you exactly without thought.
Right. And and a lot of it is very fast articulations.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is, all the bass lines are so repetitive that a bass player would kill me if I wrote that stuff.
Right.
But, one funny thing, the piano part, all the keyboard parts on the first piece, Inadequate Adult Supervision, are played by the synthesizer. I wrote them out note by note, and I sent a copy to a piano player friend of mine, and his response was, "How did you get so good on keyboards?" I had to confess that I wasn't playing anything. I was just putting notes in the computer and letting the computer do it.
Right.
And I wish I was that good on keyboards.
Don't we all? I know completely. And so a lot of people might not know that these are all original pieces. You're not just notating someone else's piece or reimagining someone else's piece, but these are all originals written by you. And then basically there were no instruments per se used. This is all
just one. I overdubbed vibes.
Oh, okay. So vibes is on all the...
I played the vibes.
Is there vibes on every tune?
No, just on that one.
Well, okay. Got it. So everybody should for sure listen for the 15-minute one. But
no, there are no vibes on that one.
Oh.
The vibes are on one of the other tunes. I can't remember which one.
Okay.
It's been a while.
And the one that we actually did a video for that we're going to release soon is called Fantasy Fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you remember why you named it that by any chance?
Yes. There is no reason.
Okay. I love that answer. That is such a hairy answer.
Yeah. And see, you knew that kind of answer was going to come up eventually. There's no reason. No, I think I had the word fantasy, and I thought, well, yeah, why not just call it not fantasy, but Fantasy Fan.
Because you're a fan of fantasy.
It's a nonsense title.
Exactly. I like that. All right, everybody. We have been with Harry Smallenburg here. We're talking a little bit about a record that we are going to release of his very soon. It will be available on AngelaMayO'Neill.com. That's Angela, MAEONEIL.com for download, or you can actually get an actual DVD from Harry Smallenburg himself. Yes, Harry?
Yes, they are available. Not a DVD, a CD.
A CD. Oh, doy. Yeah, you can get a CD from Harry Smallenburg, or you can download it, and we will also release it on the services. It'll be on Apple Music and Spotify and all that stuff.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Harry Smallenburg. And everybody, we will tell you very soon in the next couple of months what it is we're going to release. A Harry Smallenburg solo album called
Inadequate Adult Supervision.
Inadequate Adult Supervision, because there clearly was not enough adult supervision.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Of this record.
Somebody should have said no.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Harry, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.